It's no secret that social media apps like TikTok or Instagram are designed to manipulate us. But what we don't talk enough about is how totally ordinary apps like route planners, meditation tools, and even fitness trackers use the same psychological principles to keep us coming back. So in this video, we'll break down how apps like Headspace, Perplexity, and Discord, among others, keep you hooked. And I promise you, once you see how this works, you'll start noticing it everywhere. And better yet, you'll know how to use these ideas to design apps people actually want to return to. Let's start with a hard truth. When most people think about great apps, they focus on features, UI design, aesthetics. However, the most successful products, the ones people actually stick with, aren't thriving because of those things. They're thriving because they are psychological engines. They play directly into how the human brain is wired. What grabs attention? What triggers action? What keeps you coming back? And when your product aligns with human behavior like that, down to traits like decision-making, reward anticipation, or the need for completion, you don't have to push people anymore. They pull themselves into your app, which is the layer most people miss, but something that's hard to unsee once you experience it in action. Like when you look at Perplexity and study their interaction model. Before we dive into that though, if you're looking for someone to help you think in terms of design psychology for your product or for your website, especially if you're crafting interactions like Perplexity, consider signing up for the free strategy calls we do at ZipZap. Now let's bring up the Perplexity mobile app. If you ask a question inside this app, you don't just wait. You see it respond. We have details like the loader animation and the voice dots that react in real time. And those aren't just aesthetic UI choices. They're feedback loops built for emotional reassurance. When we take an action, we expect the app to react. And when it does, we feel the loop close. It feels nice. Even waiting becomes a positive vibe when this is done right. So here's what you want to do. You want to make responsiveness feel smart. Movement should show that the system is active. Then you want to have small rewards like flickers or pulses to validate the input. Overall, you just want to treat in-between moments as intentional, not empty. Now, in many cases, creating responsiveness like this usually comes a little later in your app's evolution. So what about the beginning of the journey? This is where Apple Fitness sets a great example. It doesn't throw 30 different workouts at you when you open it. Even if you've never used it before, you're steered toward one single thing. Press, let's go, and start moving. That's Hick's law at work. The more choices you're given, the longer you take to decide. Simple as that. So instead of overwhelming you, Apple Fitness reduces decision fatigue. Simplicity becomes the most powerful activation moment. And if you want to apply this right now, start with one clear focus across your entire app. Because users commit faster when they aren't choosing between countless paths. Also, remember to remove friction from the starting moments. Just those points alone can take you really far. But allowing users to start fast won't help if acting isn't easy. And Waze is a great example here. People using Waze are often on the move, like one hand on the wheel, eyes on the road. And the team, of course, knows this. And they use Fit's law to help them. The bigger and closer a UI element is, the easier and faster it is to interact with. So all of Waze's core buttons are large and placed for easy one-handed access. But this doesn't just apply to car apps. Anyone building apps or websites should remember to design for distraction and limited attention, to convey priority with size, and to know that proximity is key, like having buttons close to a user's thumb. Then, once action is simple and accessible, you can move on to shaping the emotional side of the experience. This is something I've talked about in another video, and something that Headspace has invested millions into perfecting. But before we get into it, everything so far is what we help our clients think about daily at ZipZap. So if you want a second pair of eyes, check out the free strategy call link down below. Now back to Headspace. The moment you open this app, it's clear that it's not just a meditation app, because your pace slows, your mood shifts. And that's because the entire experience is designed to guide your emotional state before the session even begins. I'm talking from color palette to the animation to the sound. Everything is working together to create emotional anchoring. You're not just opening an app, you're entering a calm space. And what you can learn from this and what Headspace does is that emotion starts at onboard. The app's tone cues how you should feel about this app. Also, visuals guide behavior. Color, type, motion, they're not just decoration, they're psychology. By studying apps like Headspace, it's clear that emotion sets the tone for a product. However, an arguably more interesting aspect is social energy and how it gives a user a reason to plug in and stay. And you'll probably know this feeling if you've ever used Discord. You don't need to necessarily know anyone in a server to feel like it's buzzing. You instantly see like lit up avatars, reactions, and labels saying 2,312 people online. That's social proof. Something that is often misused or underused in many apps, even though it's one of the most powerful psychological principles. So here's how to apply it properly. Embrace the show, don't tell mentality. Display activity in real time. Use subtle signals like online presence and reaction counters. And treat community as a UX feature. Surface it. Don't bury it. This alone can elevate many apps. But in some cases, it's not the crowd that brings people back to action. It's how close the crowd feels to the next win. So let's talk about stompers. The moment you use this app, it feels like progress is already happening. You've got fun packs, streaks, encouragement everywhere nudging you forward. And this is the Zeigarnik Effect. People remember unfinished tasks better than finished ones, and we're wired to want to resolve them. Stompers leans into this heavily. It builds loops that never fully close, but that always feel within reach. And here's how you can apply it to your app. Stack visible progress. Users return when they know they're close to a win. Keep thresholds close and make next levels feel achievable. And then treat completion as a reward loop and represent progress visually. Of course though, don't go overboard here. Don't show 20 loops on one screen. Remember Hick's law. Now, if you want to talk strategy with us at ZipZap for free, the link is still down below. And if you like this video, check out the one here somewhere where I break down how Duolingo, Revolut, and Phantom use emotional design to stand out in a sea of sameness. Until the next one though, have a great life.